be back in. There I am. There I am. You gotta love the technical difficulties of modern this modern age, right? No matter how advanced we get in technology, it still is a high incidence of user error. And I'm so glad I'm not working the controls. Hi, everybody. I'm Vera Jones. I'm your host for Certified Unscripted, our final show of the season. Tito, pass me a tissue. I'm dating myself. Well, here's how it works, folks. We have had an amazing year. I mean, some of the best history and basketball knowledge, and we could not have done it without you. So for everybody that's joining us on Facebook Live, also watching us on YouTube Live, we appreciate you. You have put up with us through all of the technology problems and all of the greatness that we have brought on in the previous weeks. We will end on a high note tonight. We have a very, very special guest. Before we bring our guest on, please welcome our all-time GM of the year, of the century, PT from DC. It's Penny Toller. Welcome, my dear. How are you?
I am awesome. And you know what? I was just about to get my tears too. This is our last show.
I got choked up a little bit. I was like, oh, yeah.
I know. And it's like, oh my God, I look so forward to these shows. And, you know, it's been a great run with you ladies. And Vera, you've been amazing. Let me get that in because our guest is so special that we'll probably just go out of here at the end. It's been fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
We can't do it without you. Your worldly knowledge, your connections, your history, your straightforwardness when you're not trying to tiptoe around the issue. You take the abuse from the fans when they're ready to dig in and throw it at you, and you take all of the love as well. So we definitely have, we can't do it without you, PT from DC. And certainly we have to give our kudos just in case, like you said, at the end we run out, to Rita Haywood, our executive producer, who has done an outstanding job of getting some of the most phenomenal guests. So thank you. Speaking of phenomenal guests, you know how I like those segues, just go naturally in it. I'm diving in tonight. Usually we talk about a whole lot of stuff on the front end and then we bring in our guests. This time, we got to get right to it. Widely known to us old heads, and yes, I have no problem in admitting I'm an old head now, as a major part of that Lakers dynasty of the 80s. He was a 5-time NBA champ, 80, 82, 85, 87, and 88. He was NBA Defensive Player of the Year, 8-time All-Defensive Team, 5 times on the first team, by the way. If you want to take him back to college, Western Athletic Conference, back in the 70s. Oh my gosh, you want to talk about old school, 77 and 78. As a coach, you'll recognize him as a 2-time WNBA champ in 2001 and 2002 and WNBA Coach of the Year. That's a good looking Coach of the Year picture right there. That looks like Coach of the Year right there. He's also had stints all over the NBA, of course, with the Lakers, the Denver Nuggets as an assistant coach. He's coached women's basketball, college basketball at the University of Southern California. He was with the WNBA Atlanta Dream from 2014 and 2017 when he finally stepped away, but he really didn't step away. He then went into high school basketball where he remains even now, currently the head coach of Culver City High School, California. That's the longest intro I've ever done. Please welcome the legendary Michael Cooper.
How you ladies doing? Thank you so much, Vera. You know what? Great introduction. I love that. And for all crying, PT knows me from our Sparks days. I'm an emotional guy, so I got my tissue too. So I'm gonna cry.
You're so funny.
Penny, how emotional is he? Is he telling the truth? Is this we got a sensitive guy? Is he a sensitive guy? He looks like a hard nose to me.
No, Coop actually does have some compassion. You know what I'm saying? He's a compassionate guy.
Okay.
I always say, Coop, when you're not only happy, like you one of the most patient guy that I've ever met. And I used to be like, if Coop got mad at you, you deserve to be mad. Because I'm gonna tell you something. For the people out there that don't know this, for all you people that came to training camp and tried out for the Sparks, it was me cutting you because Michael Cooper couldn't cut anybody. Okay. There. Michael would tell me he's gonna cut somebody. And this is
so serious about that. I couldn't cut anybody, so I was and then I Okay, make your cut, whoever.
One day, and then I'm gonna let you jump in with the questions on Coop. But one day I go, and it was a time in the league, like if they fell out and got hurt, you had to pay for them. So I'd be like, okay, Michael, who we cutting? Okay, well, you want me to cut them or you gonna cut them? He'd be like, oh no, I'll cut them, right? But if they look like they're gonna get tears in their eyes, Coop be like, great job, come back tomorrow. I come in there, I'm like, Michael, what are these players? What are these players doing here? He's like, PT, I couldn't cut them. I couldn't cut him. We had an assistant general manager named Ron J. Jackson. And then Ron J became known as, whatever his name was, he used to cut him. Coop couldn't cut nobody. He's one of the nicest guys I ever met.
Well, that's wonderful.
Axeman.
That's awesome. You don't have like 50 players on your high school team right now, do you?
He might.
No, I got 50.
When he went to SC,
that's too funny.
When he went to SC, one of his assistant coaches go, Penny, is there anything I need to know about Michael Cooper? I go, yeah. He said, what? I say, you do not send him out with a letter of intent. Because if he get in the home, whether he want him or not, he may sign him and you may not want him. You just send Michael, but don't put no paperwork in his hand because you may get him teams you don't want.
Got it.
I you talk about my stint in the WNBA, and I've spent almost 15 years in that league.
Yeah.
I could not have been as successful as I was without Penny Toller. And that's before I became a head coach, because I remember Penny and she was a player on the team. I was an assistant coach, and there was things going on. And you know what? We used to always get together, and I tell PT, just stay focused. You're going to get in, work her out. And then things made that change to where she became the general manager. I became the head coach, and she really, really helped me a lot in my coaching. That's why I say, if a general manager and a head coach can be on the same page, looking at the same thing, you're going to have a successful organization, successful team. And Penny had that basketball eye. I compare her to one of the greatest I've ever worked with, Jerry West, because PT could see things like Jerry in the women's game, and she could see that player that we definitely need. Sometimes we didn't need 3 players. We just needed that one player, and PT always found that player for us. And again, during the season when we're playing games, Coop, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? So she was always testing me and questioning me to make me a better coach, because if the team wins, she looks good, the organization looks good, and we with the Sparks, comparable to the Los Angeles Lakers, this is about winning championships, not just games. And I
got it done.
Right there.
Well, while we speaking of the Sparks, because I know you're on the time limit, I got a surprise for you. Hold on. I'm going to go get it for you, okay? Stay right there while we're speaking of the Sparks.
While she's going to go and get your surprise, we always start this way. I love history. How'd you get started in basketball? I read somewhere that when you were 3 years old, did you have surgery on your knee? 100 stitches? Is that true?
Here, as a young person, I was
stay right there for 1 second.
Shepherds, and they had the puppies. And back in the day, my older coffee cans, and black people would pour that grease, bacon grease, chicken grease.
Yes.
And
I still pour mine in there.
So one of the puppies had knocked it over, but my grandmother didn't totally remove the top, and it was kind of like sticking open, and I fell on that and cut my leg to the bone. So, she sat up with me all night. They said I'd never be able to walk again. If I did, I'd have that brace with the shoe on it. I had 102 stitches, and know what? By the grace of God and the prayers of my grandmother, I was able to come back and live a healthy life. So I've been tested.
Yeah, ain't nothing like a praying grandmother, and ain't nothing like the surprise Penny's got for you.
Yeah, I got a blast from the past for you, Coop. I'm going to
that?
bring it in for you right now. You're going to tip on this one. Look who's here.
Wait a minute. Who's that?
Oh, hey.
Oh, my
Hey,
goodness.
D, how you doing, man?
Hey. I don't know if you can read this, but
The Ice House.
My death move. There you go.
But Penny is the new general manager of the Ice House in Pasadena.
Oh, okay. My home.
We are now working together. We're working together again.
Congratulations.
Johnny
Penny,
brought
Penny,
it. And-
introduce your guests to all of our listeners, viewers.
Yeah, for sure. Now, all you listeners out there, you can't say certified unscripted and ain't give you a big surprise today. This is Johnny Buss, the original owner of the Sparks, the Lakers legend,
Yes.
own the Lakers, everything. And if you're missing this show tonight, you missing out. This is the actual Johnny Buss, the first owner of the Sparks for 10 years, owner of 2 of the champions, retired Lisa's jersey, named the basketball court after Lisa. Michael Cooper, you don't work with him long before I met him. I mean, it don't get no better than Johnny Buss. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean,
Johnny, can you give us some
you
scoop
look like
on Michael?
You about to cry, Coop?
I'm telling you, I'm emotional.
You look like you about to cry.
He's
Oh my
emotional.
God.
I love it. Give us some scoop on Coop.
Well, we have an assistant manager job, but that's available if you're not doing anything, Coop. I tell you. Very nice to meet you also.
We do got one question, Johnny, before you leave.
Yeah.
And Vera and I used to always ask me this, and our producer's not on there. What made you decide you want to buy the Sparks? I'm putting them on the spot, you guys, but I mean, it ain't every day we get an original owner here.
That's
what
right.
What made you want to buy the Sparks?
The Sparks? Well, actually, it came down to timing. Jeannie was getting very involved in the Lakers at that time, and as well as my brother Jimmy. So my dad just came to me and said, "Hey, look, David Stern wants to start a women's basketball league, and I think you would be best to run it. So do you feel like pioneering something like that?" And I said, "Absolutely." And I stuck with it for almost 11 years.
Hey, Daryl, let me tell my Johnny Buss story. I joined the Sparks, and I wanted to kind of like. I'm a very punctual person on time, so Pat Riley would leave us. If bus is at 5 o'clock, if you weren't on the bus, hey, the bus is gone. So this time here, I'm losing my mind and I'm not thinking right, And so PT comes on, and Johnny's a little late, so we end up leaving. So Johnny gets to the arena. He goes, "Coop, what the hell you doing?" and stuff. I said, "JB, you know what? I am so sorry." He said, "Coop, you always have to give me a grace period of 5 or 10 minutes," because he was handling league things. And again, that's the thing I'm missing. But you know what? Johnny was so gracious about that. Didn't fire me and kept me on.
Hey, Coop, actually, you left us both. You actually left us both. Yeah, you left us both.
I remember that.
Remember, he left us both. But we were like, where the boss at?
Oh, I was only upset for like 2 seconds. It wasn't a big deal, but that's funny that you remember that.
But JB and PT, it sent the message to the players. We never had any players late.
Well, that's because I started changing the time. Remember, we used to take those 6:30 a.m. flights, and I changed it to 9 o'clock flights. So it made it a lot easier for everybody to be on time.
That's right.
But anyway,
thank you,
love
John.
you all.
Thank you, Mr. Buss. Thank you.
Before Johnny goes, though, like he said, Johnny Purse's the legendary Ice House. We're about to open. If you're in Timbuktu, you want to get here to California to come to the club, because the club is going to be fire. And Coop, you know you're already going to be here, because I told everybody they got to meet you.
Let me know. I'll be
the
there.
best comedy club that you ever seen. We're going to have comedy, music, all that. So you guys, I've been talking about it for months now, but you know it's real. Here's Johnny Buss. Okay, hey, Coop, I was telling Johnny, remember he gave me my first job, my second job. Well, he gave me my first job as a player, second job as a GM. And now I got the third job. I got the third job.
Time's a charm.
Hey, you guys, I love my white boy.
No, listen, you two will always be hooked at the hip for the rest of your life. You two right there.
Johnny, thank you, Johnny.
Great gift, PT. Thank you for that. I hadn't seen Johnny in a
You
while.
were about to cry. Yeah. Tell him how great it is to work for Johnny. I mean,
Johnny is like his dad. He's probably not. I've never played for any other owner in the NBA. I played all my years with the Los Angeles Lakers. And Jerry Buss was something very, very special. And like that old saying, the apple don't fall far from the tree. JB is the exact same way. Very patient, kind. He has compassion and empathy for everybody in the organization, and that sparks. The Sparks organization, although at the time when we started, we were very small, it truly felt like a family. And JB was, if you want to say, awesome, quote, the father, he really was. And he looked out for everyone, but he gave us all room to grow and within the organization. And that's the one thing that I always cherish about him, because, again, I love his dad like he's my dad. I love JB like he's my brother. And it was such a tremendous time for the Sparks in LA, because we were winning the same time Lakers, Kobe, and Shaq and them were winning, and it was absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
And I just want to say one more thing. I can honestly tell you, I wouldn't have been everything what Coop said. He always nurtured us and wanted the best from us. I know I wouldn't have been I always tell everybody, my success was my first 10 years with Johnny, because Johnny pushed you to be the best. And I already knew that if I can work for Johnny, I can work for anybody. I could sustain anything. It was great. But I do got one more surprise for you, Coop, before you go. You're going to love this guy, because I talk about y'all like a dog when I'm in here telling these stories about the Sparks. This is last surprise, Vera. I know you guys don't know them, but look who else is here.
What up, Coop?
How you doing, man?
Good.
Come closer.
Introduce your guest.
Oh, that's Mike.
This is gone.
Michael Harris, Coop.
Yeah. What's up, Mike?
What's up, man?
All right. How you doing in the family? Everybody's good?
Everybody's good.
All right.
Looking here at the Ice House as well.
PT, what is all these people doing at your place? Why are they at your spot?
Well, you know what it is. It ain't broke. Don't fix it. We got the old gang back. You guys, this is Michael Harris. Michael actually, hell, you worked with Michael before me too. He worked with the Lakers. How many years you at the Lakers? Like 10? 30?
30.
Yeah, like 30 years. He go way back with Michael. He's director of marketing. Michael done ran the Lakers G League team. I had the fortunate opportunity to work with him when I was with the Sparks, and do some other projects. Hey, Coop, it's gonna be like walking down memory lane when you get over here. And Coop,
I'm ready.
Wait till you see the club, Coop. Wait till you see it.
I can identify with Mike, because both of us was with the Lakers when we had hair. Now neither one of us has.
Absolutely.
This guy here actually created the Laker logo that you see on the floor right now.
South Bay.
Is that right?
Yeah, Michael. Wow. Michael's been around for a long, long time. Yeah, so he worked with Johnny. When you started with the Lakers, when you were like, what, 15, 17?
18.
Yeah, 18 years old. So everything you guys been saying, Coop, I got to ask you about that. And I'm going to let the fans get their questions in, because I know they're going to kill us. But Michael always say, watching the Showtime show, the Lakers, he lived through all that era with you guys. Michael was around you guys way before Penny Toller came into the picture. But I just want those guys to say hi to you, especially Johnny, because it's not often that we can catch Johnny here. Exactly. But Coop, you're going to have to come over, Coop. You're going to be a regular. We got nothing but top shelf alcohol and a dance floor.
As long as they got to dance for some music, I can drop it like it's hot still. I just can't come up fast. But Mike Harris, stop watching that Showtime. Watch Legacy. That Showtime is made for TV.
Got you, Coop. I'll see you soon.
Love you, Mike. Take care, man.
You too.
Okay, you guys, I'm tired of arguing Coop. Coop, you got a million questions in here, so I'm going to sit back and let you answer them. But Coop, you already know I love you like my brother, and I know he said I was a good GM, but I learned a lot from Michael. I'm telling you guys, this is one of the most positive guys I've ever laid my eyes on. And Coop, all these guys I work with as far as construction and stuff like that, they know about you too, because I always tell them, do y'all put on any cologne? I go, Michael Cooper's the nicest smelling guy I ever met. So I may have to get you over, come over here and get these guys some cologne. I'd be like, because Michael, that's another thing for you guys. Michael always smells nice. I used to tell him that too.
It's important to smell good. It's absolutely important to smell good.
Hey, Vera,
who's the first person that
100 questions?
Especially when you're around all those women. That's why I say there was two things about coaching women that I love. One, they look better in their uniforms. You know how big and I said the second one is they smell good when we come back to the huddle. That's why I was always calling timeouts. Lisa Leslie and all that. Natasha Byers, those women smell good coming back, man.
Oh my gosh. Too funny. Too funny. All right. First question. Netta Johnson wants to know who's the first person to put a basketball in your hand. Take us back. Let us know your history a little bit.
I have an uncle. I grew up with my grandmother in the family, and my uncle. His name is Tom, but we weren't allowed to call him Uncle Tom. We had to call him Tom,
Okay.
my uncle. So he
Makes
was
sense. Yeah.
the first one to put a basketball, and we played all the sports. There was like about 6 cousins, myself included, and we just used to go play. And he was the first one to put a ball in my hand, shoot. Then when it was baseball season, we'd go play baseball. When it was football, and I just grew to love basketball a little bit better than the other two.
This is one of the questions that we get all the time. We've had some amazing guests just like yourself, and nobody gets to skip this question at all. Your top 5 players. The only thing that's a little different this time, because you have such a vast basketball experience with both men and women. Can you give us your top 5 women and your top 5 men?
Of all time.
Over any era, anytime, anyone you've ever seen.
My top 5 is one is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think he's the GOAT over everybody. Kareem is one.
And that's a question too that was in here. Did you think Kareem was the GOAT? Well, I guess he is the GOAT.
Kareem's the GOAT. Nobody, we'll get into that later. But Kareem, top 5. I have to pick Magic. And I have to go, whenever you say Magic Johnson, you can't say Magic without saying Larry Bird. And you can't say Larry Bird and Magic. So those 3.
Okay.
This is where I have a problem. I'm going with Kobe. Kobe was a fantastic player, and I'm 4th. And then my 5th one, and this is a hard one, and it's either between Michael Jordan or Dr. J. And I'm gonna pick Jordan because Dr. J dunked on me, and I didn't like that. So that's a whole other.
I used to do this at practice. Hey, Vera, I used to do this at practice.
Get out of here, City. Stop doing that.
You know what that was? That wind-up dunk on Coop that Dr. J did on You just remembered it, didn't you? When Dr. J wound up and Coop out like he was going to go up, it's legendary. It's the dunk you see. That's Michael Cooper getting dunked on. When you see Dr. J wound up, that's cool.
Discard what Penny talking about. Had I been able to get up in the air, Vera, that would have been the greatest block of all time.
Of course it would have. Of course it would have. I'm all here for you. You came on the show, so I'm all here for you.
Okay.
I know you would have blocked that.
Top 5 women player.
Yep.
Lisa Leslie.
So
she's probably the best basketball player. Pure basketball player I've ever coached or worked with. I mean, I've worked with Kobe when he was young, but Lisa was one that just adapted to everything and absorbed it and took it to heart and used it. So Lisa Leslie would be one. Lauren Jackson, loved her, and I love Lisa whipping her all the time. The other one, and I might be a little biased with some of these, but Tamika Dixon. People don't realize how good Tamika Dixon was, and she was like a street ball player, put it together for us, and really did some spectacular things. Then I have to go with the late great Ann Donovan, and I love Ann as a coach, but as a player. And you know what? It's like the game today. The players in the present don't really understand what was way before them, and Ann was one of the best as far as a big. And last but not least, and I love to death. I love this player so much because she was always willing to do whatever it took, and that's Penny Toler. And I'm not saying that on the show. I'm saying that because I worked with Penny. I watched her two or 3 years before I actually got with the Sparks. But then to come on the Sparks and Penny, what people don't realize about Penny is Penny was the first true to me combo guard, actually a guard that can play 3 positions and play them extremely well. You couldn't really label her as a point because she could score. And as a 2 guard, you couldn't label her just a shooter because she could create and get assists for everybody. And then probably why I love her is because I can see myself in her. Penny was had so much tenacity and just that I'm gonna kick your ass and hers. That's how she was. She was.
I would have loved to play for you, Michael. I really would have. Because matter of fact, when I knew I was going to be the GM, Johnny tried to get me to play again. I go, no, I want to be the GM, and Michael Cooper's going to be your coach. And look what it turned out. Because people, and thank you, Michael, for that. But I tell people all the time, and it's funny because, you know, I done ran into people and they be like, oh, Michael had great players. No, you need a coach. Michael was a teacher. You know what I'm saying? And because he was a teacher, he won. It's amazing some of the arguments that people just think, oh, you just go sit at the front of the Sparks bench and you win. No, you don't.
Yeah.
Michael taught. He even, and Lisa even gave you credit at a Hall of Fame banquet. He even told Lisa when she first came there, Lisa, you good, but every year you got to add 2-3 more moves to your repertoire. You know, I think I really would have came into my own as a player if I had to stay playing, but you know, there was a higher position, so I'm gonna go and step up. But but it was I mean, yeah, it was great when you were an assistant coach, and I knew you would make a great head coach.
Oh, thank you, PT. And you know what? And Vera, when I'm naming out these players, I know I'm leaving out Sue Bird was a great one, Tina Thompson, Cheryl. I'm leaving out some players, but you're asking me my top 5 and what I see to become great players. And I mean, that's really unfair, but that's my top 5.
Do you have a point guard or two in mind? I mean, you kind of threw Penny in the mix a little bit, but and then you also just mentioned Sue Bird. Anybody else come to mind that stands out for you?
Oh, Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley, man, got with her, and granted, she had hurt her knee toward the end of her career when she was at Star. But Dawn was giving people the business on a bad knee. Just think how she was when she had 2 good knees. So, I mean, Dawn was a great one, too. Time to go back, Ruthie Bolton, Holyfield. I mean, there was so many people.
Ruthie, we missed Ruthie tonight. She should have been on here, actually.
So,
all right. Well,
what was it like to play with Pat Riley? I just had a quick question. Like, I know that's a question on here, too. What was it like to play for Pat Riley?
You know what?
Pat Riley and Magic.
I kind of patterned my coaching style after Coach Riley because he was the same way. He was a teacher. But for us, we pretty much do the game. So his specialty became motivating us to play, getting us ready to play. Because you have so many games, and there's games where you could come down flat. Pat Riley had the innate ability to say something or tell you a story or do something that gets you fired up for that game when you're not really expecting to, you know, you're playing Boston Celtics on Friday night. Then on Sunday, you got to go play the Orlando Magic. That's a great high down to a low. And Pat could keep us pretty easy. So to play with Coach Riley, another thing he did was really good was his attention to detail and his scouts and our practices and our preparation for games and stuff like that. He was very good. And Vera, you got that wrong. See, people always say, what's it like to play with Magic? No, I was on the team first. You should be asking Magic, what's it like to play with Coop?
You know what? I asked him. I asked him. I'm going to tell you what he said. But I just figured I'd ask you first.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Playing with Magic was like playing with your brothers or somebody you've been playing. Yeah, like your brother, because you've been around your brother for your whole life. And Magic, what people don't realize is it wasn't about Magic making us better players because we were already good. I think anybody that plays for 4 or 5 years in the NBA, you're there. So you're pretty there. What Magic did is he allowed your ability to look easy. You know, he when you're running the floor, and he made that running worthwhile, throwing the Cooper loop. James Worthy got down low. He gave him the ball in positions for him to be the best he can be. And Magic mastered at that, and Magic could work with anyone. I mean, it's amazing how that guy do the things he do, and as that's shown in all the championships he's won with the Lakers, with the Sparks, with the Dodgers, and now with the LA soccer team. So Magic can work with it. He always puts people in the best position for them to be successful.
Wow, that's good stuff. And you played in such an amazing era. Do you ever look at, like, not just men's, I guess I should say it this way. What is the biggest difference you see from when you played to when you're watching the NBA now? And also, because you started back in the WNBA early in the league, what is the biggest difference from then and now?
I think for the men's league, it would be Norm Nixon made a great statement about 5 years ago. He said, you know, when these European players were coming over to the NBA, we thought that we would affect those players, affect them to play the game. their game affected us because again, you got Vlade Divac and the big European players. All of them are shooting 3-point shots. So for us, championships were paint. In today's game, and the Golden State Warriors broke that their first championship 5-6 years ago by shooting perimeter. I never thought a team could win a championship shooting perimeter shots, and they broke that mold real good. So today's game is distorted with the 3-point shot because everybody's not a 3-pointer, but everybody tries to shoot that shot. But the teams that win get a little bit of both. If you look at the Warriors, they'll hit some threes, but they get a lot of twos. They get a lot of layups, and that is the difference from when we played because 3-point shot was it was not necessarily a weapon for us, but it was a way to get that defense to open up a little bit. As far as the women's game, the WNBA, the players now are bigger, faster, stronger, smarter, and that's what about the women's game now. What's the young lady in Vegas that just won the big center?
Asia Jones, Asia Wilson.
Asia Wilson. That girl that girl would have gave Lisa all she could handle, man, because that young lady play, and she obviously with weights and stuff being introduced in college now, these players are coming bigger and they're stronger and they're more agile. So it's a big difference. And the WNBA, you know, when PT and I was in it, people used to tell us. I remember Charles Barkley asked me once, "Coop, why are you in the WNBA? That league's gonna be over in a minute." I said, "You know what, man? Have you been to a game?" He goes, "No, I won't watch it." I said, "Then you can't criticize it until you come see the WNBA. You can't sit at home. I mean, you can, but you can't sit at home and criticize. You got to actually go to the arena and see how they're playing and the things."
You told them right.
So.
Shut up, Barkley. No, you told him right.
He is curved a little bit. So he understands the league now a little better.
Yeah. There's a question here about, since we're throwing out all these great names, what about Jordan? It says you played against him for 6 years. You being a great defender, what made Jordan tough to guard?
You know what? I caught Michael Jordan when he was at his most athletic point in his career. You know, Jordan, he wouldn't post up. If he posted up, he just turned around and jump over you and shoot. If he's coming fast break, he was going to dunk it. The thing I say about him, as all great players, and you look at Magic and you look at Kareem, and not so much Kareem because Kareem was a big and always close. All these guys, as they lost a little athleticism, as they got a little older, they started moving closer to the basket. And Jordan really became notorious when he started really posting up. That Utah series that he had where he killed him, Michael, that's why I say I love playing against Michael early because, again, I could use my athleticism and jump with him and all of that. But he really became a good player as he got older because now he had the jumper, he had the inside game, and obviously he was going to always get his dunks off. But I'm just kind of glad I got out of the league before. But I'll say this, Vera. The Bulls didn't win nothing until the real Lakers left town in 1991.
Okay, because I was a diehard Laker fan. That's right. Set them straight. There's history right there. There it is. Let's see. What made Cynthia Cooper so tough at that advanced age? And Cheryl Swoops in 2000 was the best player in the world. What made Swoops a problem? Well,
Cynthia Cooper, I identify her with Magic, that big guard, and Cynthia had that I'm kicking your ass tonight. I don't care who I'm playing. I'm kicking your ass tonight. Cynthia Cooper was good, man. Again, I regret that I've even missed her name, but Cynthia Cooper was good. Her big size, her ability to post up anybody, and Cynthia had no problem with trying to post up Lisa Leslie. You know, she'd get her to foul her or she would score. And Cynthia, other than the only other person that could score at will when they wanted to, well, other two people that could score at will when they want to. I think Lisa Leslie had a hard time doing that, but Lauren Jackson could score when she wanted to. Cynthia Cooper could score when she wanted to, and Cheryl Swoops could score when they wanted to. You know, if they put their mind to doing it, they were going to do it. And I'm not knocking Lisa for that because Lisa had a multi-role with us. We used her a little bit of everything. But those three players in the league when we played then were players that were fearful to guard because you had to set your defense up for them. And those are three phenomenal players. And Swoops, man, just when they won their what was that fourth one back to back, PT? Remember we got Mawadi, and we made Mawadi stay home over the fall season. She couldn't go. We practiced Mawadi to play against Swoops because we weren't going to beat Houston if we couldn't contain Swoops. And I remember working with Mawadi for 7 months every day, going to schools, watching video, working on her offensive game, because with Swoops, it's going to be hard to score, but you know what? You can go back at her. And we finally got that dilemma solved. That's when you saw the Sparks go to another level. But great players like that make you do great things for your team. And if your team responds, then you'll do what they've been doing. And we won some championships. But Swoops was another one that was very good.
Tell us, there's a question. We get a lot of questions on here, as a matter of fact, about Cheryl Miller. Yeah. Hit us with what you know about Cheryl.
Cheryl Swoops?
Cheryl Miller.
Cheryl Miller. Oh, I got an opportunity to see Cheryl when she was at UCLA. I remember USC, I'm sorry. USC.
Yeah, USC.
And I remember I saw her at a camp. She was at a basketball camp. And I was like, hey, this is the girl that's causing all this havoc over there. And when I went over there, that's the first time I saw Reggie Miller, her brother. I was like, am I seeing double? These guys. But Cheryl Miller was another one that was very good. And I'll say this, there's probably 2 women that truly could have played in the NBA. I mean, there's many, but when I look at this, 2 women, Lisa Leslie and Cheryl Miller, had they been able to handle the physicality of the game, the hand checking and the bumping and all of that, those 2 players, Cheryl was dynamite herself too, man. She, another one that could score, but Cheryl kind of did everything. And probably her best asset, and people have a tendency to forget that Cheryl Miller was a great rebounder at both ends of the floor.
Yes.
Extremely well, and people forget that about her. But you know, when you got a brother and your brother basically becomes one of the best 3-point shooters, people have a tendency to forget you. But again, you can't forget her, and Reggie never forget her, because she's kicked Reggie's ass all the time.
Oh man. Let me see what else is coming up. Did you ever see Teresa Edwards play in her prime?
I caught her at the end, but I heard Teresa was good. The only one time I really saw her was with the USA team, our team. And again, Penny used to tell me stories about her. People around her. Teresa spent some time that played with her a little bit. But and then Teresa actually came and worked with me at the Atlanta Dream my first year there. So
that's right. Yeah.
I worked with her. She was with me for a year. Then she moved on and got her a head coaching job. But Teresa was very good too. Big, strong person. I didn't know how big she was, but for her size at that time, and you got players like Teresa probably was maybe 5-7 years too early, because had she played now, she would be the cat's meow. But again, back then, she was a very good player then, and playing against Don Staley and some of the other great ones at that era.
Yeah.
Hey, Coop, I got a question that's a little left field, even though I know, and I don't want to go off topic because I know all these other people got these questions. The thing I always wondered was, and you guys, you don't even notice, I used to, I can honestly, like I said, I always tell everybody, I love working with Coop. Did you ever think, like, I remember one time you came in practice and you had some of Pat Riley practices. What made you keep that stuff? Because
I knew one day I was going to be a coach. And
Did you? Okay.
Started keeping it. And I have some of my late high school coach, George Turgeon, when I was at PHS in 1974, he used to draw up some things I have that stuff too from way back then. So I just knew that I loved this game of basketball. And that's why it was so special for me to coach in the women's game, the WNBA, because women truly played this game the way it was meant to be played, below the rim. And that was the joy I've always had with Lisa Mawadi and Delisha Milton, because once they got it and we were all on the same page, we were like a machine out there. But like I said, those things, I kept Pat Riley's papers. I still have a bunch of stuff today. I still have my first 2 years with the Sparks paperwork, some of my notes. Wow. And I take them out and I use them on these guys now. Some of them. So I'm truly a gym rat, but now I'm a coach rat.
Tell me this. Is it true that Delisha Milton Jones was the hardest player for you to coach in the WNBA? That from Hoops Nation.
Ask Penny that. Was she?
You really want me to tell him that story, Cooper?
Well, let me tell mine first, and then you tell yours.
Okay.
Reminded me of the negative side of me, just always questioning things, always pushing the envelope. You know what? I love Delisha. I really do. I mean, she was a great, one of the nicest people you ever wanted to be. But if you had to play against her, one of the dirtiest, one of the nastiest, one of the uncrucial, we used to call her D Nasty because she was. But she was a special player. And you know what? She kind of rounds out my coaching for me, because if you can get, and I'm not calling her a loose cannon, but she was that one player that played on the fringes outside. And, you know, it took Lisa and it took a lot of help from Penny with me to kind of rein her in. But you still kind of had to let her be her. And Delisha was interesting. But you know what? Once she got it down, and I think what she hated to do, Vera, was D hated to be sat on the bench. So that was my only way I could get her right. Is that okay? D, you know what I'm saying? You got to sit down on the bench, you know. And we, you know, I talk to D every now and then, and she'll go, "Coop, you know what? That was the best thing you ever done for me," because she uses those techniques as her coach at Old Dominion now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, PT, tell your story.
I used to tease Coop when I walk in the gym. Because, you know, Delisha's, like who said, Delisha's like a Southern Belle. 1 minute she's a Southern Belle, get between them lines, she becomes D Nasty. So I used to tease Coop because Delisha would get mad at Coop. I used to be like, "Be quiet, Coop, before I get Delisha to beat you up." You know? I used to be like, "Coop, what you say? You want me to call D? You know? Coop was so nice and so patient, you know? I used to tease him, "Coop, what Delisha?" You know what I'm saying? I used to tease him when we would be in the office in one night and we would be laughing. And it's funny because Michael and the Sparks, and I don't care what any team out there said, that was the first team, Michael, that you had all them dancing. That's when all the dancing started around the league. When Coop would bring them in, if you came in that circle, because one time they tried to get me, if you come in that circle, you had to dance.
Yeah.
Right? They would call visitors to come over thinking he got something important to say. He'd be like, "Now you got to get down. But he had some fun things. But yeah, Delisha, oh my God, you know, and it was a great relationship. But oh yeah, if Coop and I mess with D, that's all. D would take on the biggest and baddest on the court and off the court. Coop knew D. When I say like a Southern person, Coop mess with D. D would get on Coop like she owned him. I used to be like, "Coop, now you know D ain't playing that, right?" It was fun times. But then get on the bus and they sing, y'all sing that crazy song, y'all. Remember Coop? Colleen, Lisa D, and all of them used to sing. It's crazy. It was some of the best time ever.
Best time. And you know, they grew to Vera. They love all of that, the dancing and the singing. And I think that's the atmosphere that Penny really cultivated for us, because she wanted the players at their most comfortablest and most at ease. Because we knew that we were a team. Teams gel together. And then they took that from the bus to the locker room out on the floor.
Well, it obviously showed. I mean, your chemistry was off the chain even back then. And I've seen you cut it up at a couple of those WNBA parties back in the day, Coop. Yeah, you stepped on my toe one time. I'm all right, though. I'm all right.
Hey, you know, Coop, that's my story. I tell everybody, I say, "Hey, if you got a dance floor, Michael gonna shut it down." Michael loves
to be on it. Yeah, I remember it well.
He loves
that man loves to dance. I ain't mad at you for that. Coop, before we get to this question.
I had 2 hip replacements, so I don't dance as much now.
Oh, no, not as much? Are you just rocking up?
But Coop, I'm still going to carry you around. And this is how great the Lakers were, Vera. And I'm going to tell you, this is crazy how when people remember that era and the Showtime and them talking about it now. One of my favorite stories being with Michael Cooper was seeing all the admiration when we would be traveling through the airport on our commercial flights that the women be on. So many people would run up to Michael Cooper and ask for his autograph. And I'm not talking about people in his age range. I'm talking about people younger and younger. Sure. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you need to get on the plane and you need to get on earlier, walk with Michael Cooper, because he would get this whole team on the plane. Whether we had C, B, D, E, F. One day the lady go, "Hey, they don't look helpless," but the lady liked Michael so much that she said, "Yeah, bring the girls on. We got on the plane."
The whole team.
I'm like, let's travel with a Michael Cooper, because people love that team, you know?
That's too much. You guys obviously have had a lot of fun. My cheeks hurt just listening to these stories. Coop, tell us about, here's a question. We're going to take you back into your WNBA coaching days. Southern Belle wants to know whether you would have gotten rid of Candace Parker and T. Cooper if you were the Sparks coach at the time that trade happened.
You know what?
Well, those weren't trades. They were Candace left on her own as a free agent, and Tia Cooper was a cut.
Yeah,
they weren't trades.
Oh, she was cut. That's right. All right.
Right.
What'd you say, Coop?
Tia Cooper was a young lady from Tennessee, right? The guard.
Well, she left Tennessee, and I think she spent a little time with Dawn. She had moved around, but yeah, she started there first.
I probably, you know what, and I'm gonna say this: Penny and I, we had an ability to get players and to turn players around when they were at risk. I think our biggest accomplishment, and I don't want to call it accomplishment, but Latasha Byers. Everybody told us.
I remember that.
And we brought B in, man, and she just changed the culture of our team. So for me, again, maybe some coaches couldn't handle. I think Candace was a great one. Candace's problem with us when she got with the Sparks is that Lisa was there. And Candace thought she was better than everything. Well, she was, but again, you got to learn from the master. So that'd be like trying to take a Kareem spot. No, learn from it, because Lisa was only there, 1 or 2 more years after that. Then Candace ran the reins. But had I had those 2 players, now I don't think I would have traded either one of them. We'd have been able to work. We sit down, talk it out, and make it happen. Because again, you know, Candace is a marquee player. You don't lose a marquee player, okay? Especially because the Sparks are in New York Liberty, and who else would be that? I would say Seattle now are like the cornerstones of the WNBA.
Yeah,
you know, those are the teams that've been around for a long time. Obviously, Houston was one of those teams, but they ended up getting rid of that franchise. But
and Phoenix.
Yeah. So Phoenix. So you gotta
with Diana
marquee players in the cornerstone of WNBA, like they do in the NBA.
There's a quick question I want to get in, because I know you gotta leave. Before I jump on this one, I've been sitting on this. I wanted to know about. There's only a couple of a few coaches that played in the NBA and then came over to the WNBA and coached. And one of them was Bill Laimbeer. What was your? I remember the days back with the dirty. You know, it was some nasty clashes back in the day. Did you or did you not? This question from Dion Hoop's page. Coop, you and Bill Laimbeer had some battles with the Shock. You really hate him, don't you? That's the question. What was that relationship like?
I want to say it was a love and hate relationship, but I fucking hate Bill Laimbeer. I don't like him as a player. I didn't like him as a coach, and he knew that they couldn't beat us without doing the antics that back then they called them the bad boys, but when we whooped their ass in '88, we called them the bad kids. So he knew that they were only going to win, and that big fight that they started back there, and then he had a buddy, his butt buddy with him, Rick Mahorn. You know what? No, did not like Bill Laimbeer at all. I respect him as a man and as an NBA player, but don't like him as a coach, because he brings a whole new different dynamic to the thing. But you know what? Whatever it takes to win, and you got to give him the credit. He put that team together, man, and they were very ferocious. But yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of Bill Laimbeer.
Yeah,
not at all.
Yeah,
and
I love it.
We'll go nose to nose when I together.
Tell it like it is. Tell it like it is. We appreciate that. I always wondered about that too, because we see, you know, back in the day, you'd see the clashes, you hear about it. And then you always wonder, like, you know, off the court, could you be cool with it? But that was real. So that was real. That wasn't made for TV. Those clashes were real.
But here, I'll say this.
All right, good to know.
I hate to say this in a sense, but Rick Mahorn, we coached in the Big 3 League, which is Ice Cube's 3-on-3. And Rick Mahorn coached the team. I actually like the guy. He still get confrontational though, but I actually like Rick Mahorn. I don't think I could say that about Bill Laimbeer. I don't like him.
Okay.
Hey, cool.
All right.
Remember
Okay.
though, unfortunately, when that brawl broke out between the Sparks and Detroit,
I think we lost him.
Hey, Coop, speaking of Delisha, remember when that brawl broke out with Detroit and us? I mean, with the Shock in Detroit? And here's where D Nasty came in handy. Mahorn accidentally locked down Lisa, and D Nasty started wailing on Mahorn. Mahorn, like, what, 260, 300? Delisha.
Oh, he's a big dude.
Delisha, like, oh, you knocked down Lisa? Delisha was welling on him. All the players were, remember they suspended all the players?
Yeah.
We had to go alphabetical. But Delisha beelined it to take on Rick Mahorn, didn't she, Coop?
She did.
Oh
She
my gosh.
got in a couple of punches too.
It
Oh
was
my
so
God.
funny.
That was you know what? That was I don't want to say like a black eye, big black eye, but that was when the WNBA really, I think, became an enjoyable sport because you had rivalry started and they knew that women were out there playing. They just weren't playing, but now we were going to play basketball. And, you know, you don't ever want to see that in sports at all, especially in the WNBA level. But
Right.
you know what? That changed us. And I enjoyed it. Our players enjoyed it. And I'm glad nobody got hurt or anything through that. A lot of suspensions, a lot of money lost, but we weathered the storm.
This one's for Penny. Penny, a few years ago, you said rumors you wanted to trade Candace Parker, but right now, NECA is at the age Parker was now. Would you trade NECA like you wanted to trade Parker? Always wanted to know this from Hoop Scoop.
Well, the first thing I'm going to say, Hoop Scoop, that I can't answer the second part because I'm not getting paid to answer it anymore. So I ain't trying to help nobody. You know, it's time is money now, boo. Time is money, huh, Coop? Okay. Now, the first part, I'm going to tell you right now, as a GM, you got to do what you do to win. Now, the question is, Hoop Scoop, and I'm going to let you answer this. I'm going to answer your question with a question. Do you trade her and take somebody's whole team and build your team, or do you let her walk out for nothing? And I'm going to leave there right there. I'm going to leave right there with that.
Say it again, Penny.
Do you trade her and take someone's whole team, right?
Take someone's whole team for her. Okay.
Yeah, because the trade Candace Parker, I got to get the whole team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or do you let her walk out for nothing? So I'm going to let you answer that. Or do you let her walk away and you get nothing?
Hey, Vera, let me ask PT a question. PT,
Go ahead.
we won so many games and obviously the 2 championships. Two questions. Who was one of your favorite players on one of the championship teams? And what championship team was your favorite team?
You know, that's interesting because I don't know, because you know, as a GM, you train not to have any favorites. You know what I'm saying? As far as the championship team, you know, I would have to say I always got to go with the first one. You know what I'm saying? Because I played with them and I went through all that because I always felt we were good, but we needed the discipline that you brought when you became a coach in order to get us to win. So it's one of those things where I went from being in the trenches. I had the opportunity to be in the trenches with those ladies. And then I had the opportunity to sit in the front row and watch them do it with you. You know what I'm saying? Yep. So I would say the first championship team is always your favorite. And then, you know, as far as the Sparks players, you know, I don't have the luxury of having a favorite. As far as on another team, I do have a favorite that I wish we could have got. And that's the GOAT herself and the killer of all killers. And that's Diana Taurasi. I used to love, you know, Diana. I used to love when the Sparks played Diana because, I mean, oh my God. You know, between Diana and another player that people forget about, Deanna Nolan, I used to love to watch those people play. Yeah. There were two, and I'm, you know, obviously they guards what I identify with, but I mean, Diana was just special. And remember, Coop, when they had Cappy and Diana?
Yeah, oof, that was double trouble there.
Yeah, that was double trouble. Yeah, oh yeah, this is a good one. You know, we had Angel McCautry on, Coop. I forgot what she said, but we had her on. So this is a good question right here.
No, this is a great question. We did have Angel, full transparency. We had Angel McCautry on, and she said that she thought she was better than her teammates. Wait a minute, make sure I read this right from Netta. Coop, Angel McCautry on this show said you said to her she thought she was better than her teammates. She was saying you wanted her to practice after coming from USA basketball. Was Angel tough to coach? Do you remember that scenario?
Yes, I do. And you know what? I'm gonna say this, and those 3 players I said, Cynthia Cooper, Cheryl Swoops, and Lauren Jackson. I gotta throw in there. This young lady could score when she wanted to. Angel was very, very good. Now, when I went to Atlanta, I was trying to form a little bit or to identify with our Sparks championship teams. And sacrifice was one of the things that I was trying to get Angel to understand. You know, you sacrifice a shot, sacrifice something like that. And no, I didn't want her to come practice right after USA basketball, but I wanted her to be around the team. Angel wanted to just go and be, you know, fly around and do all the off-court activities down in Atlanta, be at the clubs and this and that. And she had an ice cream shop that she opened up. And I thought it was best to not come practice, but just be around the team, join, get the chemistry going, look at the players. She might have ideas about certain players, but Angel, she was tough to coach in the point of, because I had to try to get her to jail. But as far as we were playing Seattle in a playoff game, it was my second year there. We were playing it. I ran the same play, and I called it elbow to her 10 times in a row. And Seattle couldn't stop it. So I just kept going. That was the games that she had. I think she had like 43 that game.
Wow.
And
wow.
So I understood her. I understood her game. I understood her. And when she came to play, that girl could play, man. Angel McCarthy was very good, but just wasn't a good. I mean, I don't think she was a good teammate. She tried. I got to give her credit for that. And her was. I think, you know what? My teammates are here to get me the ball, set screens for me, and rebound for me. That was her mentality.
Oh, that was her mentality.
Yeah, and she, you know, it was interesting coaching her. It was very, very interesting. I enjoyed it a little bit, but then I also hated it too because she was tough to deal with.
Yeah, no, and I thank you for your transparency and your honesty. This has been a great show.
And she was honest. She was honest too when she was on here.
Yeah,
so
she was too. Yeah.
Whoever brought that question up, I'm glad you asked it because now Coop can give his version. But I know before we get to this next one though, I am curious about. I love this question that Moni. I think that's how she pronounced her name. Yeah, I wanted to get this in your relationship with Kobe. You know, because you don't work with some great people, Coop.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I had an opportunity to work Kobe out when he was 18, 17 years old with the Lakers. They brought him in for a workout. So to actually, and you know what? I'm gonna put this out there. People thought Kobe kicked my ass, but he did not kick my ass. I he could have. You gotta remember, I was 42 years old then, man. I was almost a full-fledged senior citizen.
Yeah.
But to work Kobe out. And I hung in there a little bit, but he got me towards the end. We knew that he was going to be a phenomenal player then. You knew that guy was special because at a young age, there was things I had to do. I had to work him off a pick and roll. Jerry had him, okay, I want you to get your shot from the elbow or from the wing at 15 feet, and they had little cones down. And my job was to get him off of that. And Kobe would work me until he got close to that spot. Now in the NBA, if you can get close to your spot more times than not, you're going to hit your shot. And for that young at that early age to be able to do that, because he was doing things that a 10, 15-year veteran would do. Michael Jordan, as he got older, would be able to work people around, back you down, between the leg move, a little shake, and get to his spot. And that's when we really knew. But it was a cat fight for there. I had never sweated that hard in about 10 years because I had been retired for a while. But stop laughing. But I gave him what I could handle. And you know what? It is such a tragic loss that we lost him at such an early on. I mean, Kobe was a real special person. I think he was really coming into his own because he had now finally gotten rid of basketball. He wasn't a player anymore. Now he really got an opportunity to be dad, which we don't get to do all the time because we're traveling so much. And now with his daughter, Gianna, who we lost in that same horrific crash, was coming into her own. You can see that sparkle in his eye, like he used to be a player.
Yeah.
Now transfer that over to being a coach. And he really, really enjoyed it. And, we all miss Kobe to this day, man. Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody that was in that terrible day. And, we just keep moving on. But you know what? You live in people's memories. And as long as we keep saying his name and keep thinking about it, he's going to always be here.
Yeah. Lanita
No, they
says,
would not have won. And my boy Isaiah Thomas won that. No, I'm teasing, Coop. For that question. It goes with that question right there.
You know what? Now you getting my nerves. Now you touching the nerves.
I'm trying to be nice, and Penny is she's just pushing the buttons.
You can't. Who's that? Lene, you can't ask that because I was my brothers love the Lakers, but I loved Isaiah because he was the point guard. And I was like, okay, how you gonna say that about Magic pulling his hamstring? Okay, the year before Isaiah hurt his ankle. Okay, what up, dude?
So what, PC? I don't care about
Totally
this.
different things.
So what? If our team had been healthy, if Byron and Magic had been, we'd have whooped their butts again that year. And you know what? Listen, Isaiah had 25 in the quarter in that game. And people are like, Coop, what does it feel like to get 25? First of all, I didn't get 25. I was coming off the bench. So I only got about 12 of those. So that's somebody else's.
Oh, you giving out of 13 to somebody else?
I only got about 12. He wasn't willing to take the 13. Yeah, I only got about 12.
Hey,
Right.
Bill, look how he remembered it too. I only got 12. Yeah. See, that's a real athlete because he know what was made on them. I only got 12. But you didn't get this though.
Listen.
You know you got
As a late grade,
You have been a absolute treat. We kept you way longer than
No, we got
promised
one more.
would.
We got a couple of questions, and you guys don't know about this, but I gotta ask Coop this question here. I gotta ask Coop this question. A lot of people don't know about this. Coop, even I was like out of breath. What was it like? You guys all got together in Hawaii and had a practice. Every Laker player that played, what was it, under Pat Riley? This was like last month, wasn't it, Coop?
Yep. It was like any player that played on a championship team. And you know what, PT, you're right, but Norm Nixon, his mother-in-law got very ill 2 days before, so he didn't come. Jerry West had a prior commitment. Miss Kupchak's grandmother got ill like about a week before, so she didn't come. And then the last one was Mike McGee. But PT, you know what? Going over there and being with that, and I'll say this, and it's kind of cliche because everybody's saying it. There's no other team that could have gotten that together. And Magic, Pat Riley, and Jeannie Buss for the last 2 or 3 years have been formulating this because we had heard about it. You know, Magic was like, Coop, what you think about get together? Okay, that's good. You know, so finally it became into fruition. And to be over there, some of them guys like Jim Jones, I see Spencer Haywood, but Clay Johnson, Eddie Jordan, I haven't seen them guys in like 20, 25 years. You know, they're back east in their life and doing their thing. But you know what? As soon as you saw them, it just clicked in. And
all over again.
When I looked at them guys, I didn't see them as 40 pounds over, no hair on their head. When I looked at them guys, man, I saw them for when we were playing back there, 23, 24 years old. And it was emotional. And it was a high that we stayed on. I know I did. And I talked to a couple of guys afterwards. But once we left for about 3 or 4 days, I just felt good. And I felt like I was part of something again. And, you know, people always talk about what's the hardest part about retiring. It's the camaraderie and the friendships you built. And for Magic them to do that and put all that together, Michael Thompson and the Bob McAdoo and
how many was it? Wasn't it like 30 players?
Wow.
It was 32 players. 32
That's
players.
Awesome.
Wait till you see the pictures that Andy got. Andy Bernstein is right down the street because they even invited they even had the photographer who shot their whole careers over there. They brought their wives over there. This was recent. When Andy showed me some of the pictures on his phone, Coop, I mean, even my heart just went. I say it had to be the most amazing thing. And then I felt for y'all when I saw y'all at practice. I go, hey, did they get a couple of vitamin C's out there? They actually ran a practice as if they were practicing. Didn't y'all, Coop?
You know what? Some of them dudes had to move slow because they didn't want to have a heart attack out there. But yeah, Riley took us over and we spent about 30, 35 minutes on the court. We ran over we walked over a lot of our plays. But it was good. Like Kareem threw up his sky hook. He missed it, but he threw it up there and he actually made one. It was so special, man. And you know what? The one thing that we talked about is that we can't wait that long again. So talking about taking a year off. And then the following year, we're going to meet in Bahamas because Michael Thompson says he's the prime minister and he can get all this and that. So we're going to put him to the test. So hopefully we can do it again and get everybody to come. But that was truly something special, man. Magic had it so detailed where you had breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But then there was things going on all the time. It's called nobody could really, unless you went to your room, to go isolate. He wanted us to be around each other all the time. At night, he had a lounge area where we were playing bid whist, dominoes. They had a karaoke machine, which I stayed on that all night.
I'm sure.
But it was so much fun. It was really good, really, really good.
Oh man, that
The
is
pictures are
awesome.
priceless. The pictures
Yeah.
when you see them and Andy, and you
That's
know, 'cause when
awesome.
Andy got back, I go, Andy, where are those pictures at? 'Cause I see Andy a lot. You'll see
Yeah.
him when you get over here, Coop.
And
But then, you
a
know,
book. Andy's making everybody a book of about maybe, I think he's gonna have like 250 pictures because all he did
wow.
all day. So it's gonna be really, really special. That we should have that in about another month. Magic made everybody sign a basketball, everybody's signature on it, and everybody got that. So you got, you know, some souvenirs that you can keep. But
Some priceless
yeah,
souvenirs. Coop.
for me, just being there was good enough for me. So it was good.
I love that picture. I'm sure you saw that shot. And I know we're gonna. I love that picture. It was a younger picture of you guys when you were on the court. It was you, Worthy, and Magic, where you in the middle, and you guys. And then I saw it again. Somebody posted that picture versus the one you guys were in Hawaii. The same combination. I said, I mean, I was so happy for all you guys, especially you, Michael. I say, I know that must have been a special moment.
Yeah.
Look at those pictures again. Look at the picture from us when we played, and then look at the picture then and compare our asses. Our asses are
Coop, you crazy.
fun, a lot of fun.
Well, Vita, I know you guys come in, and this is our last show, so I'm about to take it over at the moment. But Coop,
No, you're fine.
I do got, when I see Vera coming, I know we're about to go, but Coop, we do got two more important questions, guys. We got to ask these two because we can't go.
Yeah.
What do you think about that with Brittany? What do you think about Brittany being held hostage in Russia?
You know what I think? That's so sad, and it's kind of pitiful that the U.S. can't do anything. But then, PT, I got to look at the other side of it, okay? And Brittany made a big mistake in packing and putting that in there, especially the times that were going on over in Russia. But she should not be over there, and I think USA have to do something about that. Because that young lady, you know, it's just not right. It's not right, and our president got to do something about that.
And here's the big one, and then Rita, I'll let you got Vera, I'll get your show back. But I want to hear this answer because, you know, obviously I never got a chance to answer it because he wasn't there yet. LeBron or Kobe, who are you taking? I know everybody wants to know this.
LeBron or Kobe? That's a tough one because they both present a big problem. But if I have to go with a player, if you look at Kobe, you're gonna get points. You're gonna get points anytime you want to. LeBron, you're gonna get points, but you also get them in a very amount of ways. He'll go rebound. LeBron's bigger. He causes more of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I love Kobe to death, but I think I have to go LeBron. I think LeBron.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love both of them. I would take both of them on my team, but I think LeBron gives you more of a problem than Kobe would, because LeBron can guard different people. Kobe can guard, but LeBron's just a bigger body, and he's not going to wear down. He reminds me of Magic. As the game gets on, and you just in the 40th minute, LeBron's still going strong, and you know, again, he's getting things on the inside. But you can't go wrong with picking either one of them.
Well, everybody
Scoop
wants
says
to know
before
this
you
question
go,
on
can
the
you
screen.
talk about the current Lakers? What do they need to do?
Bring Michael Cooper back. Get Showtime Lakers back. No,
Great answer. Great answer.
They are a mess over there. I think a lot of pressure has been put on AD because of his health, and I think he hears that all the time. And I think AD is hurt, but he has to stay out on the floor because then people are going to be, oh, here we go again with him. And I just think that they don't have enough shooters around. The role players they have around them are too identical. All of them do the same thing, you know, which is really not much. But I think they're going to be all right. I think Ham is going to put it together. You know what the funny part about that is? There's this new kid, this 7'4" kid from Australia.
Yeah, I saw that.
Him, PT. And, you know, the commissioner talks about teams tanking. Well, the Lakers aren't tanking. They're just not any good. But the sad part about it is we can't be any good and we can't benefit from it because we done gave our draft pick to
Exactly. That's what I said the other day.
We get ready to give them a gift, and that guy's going to make them better. So it's sad, but I you know what? I'm going to give them 20 more games. I still believe the Lakers can win a championship. Call me crazy. I still believe it. But if it hasn't happened, I'm not gonna jump off the ship. I'm just hold on the handrail off
And what about Russ? Yeah.
Oh man, you know what? I think they're afraid. I think Pelinka is afraid to eat Russ's contract because that'll make. Seems like he made a bad choice. I thought Russ was a good addition. Had AD.
Yeah, I did too.
Because Russ was brought here to be a third scorer, not a second or a first scorer. And then AD goes down, so now you move him up to where he's not supposed to be. But I mean, Russ has been probably the bright spot now that Coach Ham got him adjusted to coming off the bench.
Yes, yes.
But look at his eyes when he's sitting on the bench. When it go wrong, I think he's gonna go out the window on him. He's gonna get that whole run.
He gonna do a Delisha.
Yeah, exactly. Russ be over there like that. Russ be over there like my eyes.
This is by far the funniest show we have ever had. Coop.
So imagine being with this guy. How many years was I with you, Coop? 5, 6?
Oh.
How many years were we together? It was like the most. It was like this all the time.
No, we were together almost 9 years.
I have a headache.
9, okay.
And I left for Phoenix, which I hated. No, Denver Nuggets. I regret that move, PT, to this day. Leaving, I should have stayed, and
we would have won a championship that year too.
Yeah. But I left that year and went, and that was the worst thing I did. But no, we've been together. We were together with the Sparks for 9 years, almost 10 years.
Wow, and it was so much. I'm telling you, it seemed like it seemed like it was too short because it was like just so much fun. And Coop, I'm telling you, when we get to the club, we always say we're gonna do a Sparks reunion over here too. Whether we like you or don't like you, all the Sparks will be invited. Look at him. Look at that. And oh my God.
Hey, Coop. She was doing that at the WNBA party.
You remember the party I had when y'all came to New York? At the bed.
Really about that because I was drunk and I don't know where I was. I remember I was at a party and it was good.
That was the craziest time. You had a good time. We all had a good time that night.
Hey, Rita, we used to, and again, because the women were grown women, we used to go out. But when they went out, I would go out and kind of like being a lifeguard. But the best party I've been to was a hole in the wall in Sacramento with me, Delisha, Coach Thompson, Carr, and Lisa Leslie went out to a club. And many.
Party.
Oh,
man.
Good times. We had some great times.
So I ain't saying the party took over. We partied, but still got our job done.
That's right. You're so right. Yeah.
And then were the good old days. But you know what? Like you said, Coop, the memories. And I mean, I've never enjoyed myself so much in my life when I look back on it. That was fun because it was fun watching the team grow together into those into champions. Right.
PT, let me ask you a last question. And I talked about any of the players, and I remember our second championship, and you and I were out scouting. That's the one thing I miss about being with you is scouting college players. But remember, we went out and we looked at North Carolina, and we went and found Nikki Teasley, and everybody was coming back telling us, "Oh, leave her alone. She has problems. She's depressed and stuff like that." And Penny and I talked about her, and PT said, "Cool, we got to take a chance on her. That's the one," because we knew that we could work with her. We brought Nikki Teasley in, and that girl turned out to be the gem for us winning our second championship.
Yeah.
Yes.
She hit that shot big time.
A special player, man. I talked to her today, PT.
I was about to say, I told her to call you. I was about to say, she's in LA, right?
Yeah.
I said you need to hit Coop up, DM him on that's good. So she hit you up. Good.
Definitely.
Nikki Teasley was phenomenal. Nikki Teasley was like absolutely phenomenal. And like we could go on for days with these stories, obviously, because I know Coop so well and you know me so well. But that was the hardest thing of my GM career that I ever had to do. Because remember, Yukari Fix and I were best friends, me, Tamika, and Yukari.
Yep.
And they decided that was best for the team. And Michael, like I tell you, Michael's such a great guy. And we had to do the press. Michael go, PT, if you want, I can do the press. You probably don't even remember this, and I appreciate it. There you go, Penny. I can do the press. I said, no, I do my job, so let me go do my job. But I remember, I ain't gonna lie to you, that's the one thing I cried about. I went home because, it was tough to trade you, Corey, but it had to be done.
Yeah.
And this is where I say Lisa was so great. Lisa was the only player on the team to call me and be like, and said, PT, I know that was hard for you, but you got it done. You know what I'm saying? That was the hardest thing, which goes back to Jerry West, who I had the honor to work with before, I don't work with the greats like Michael or Jerry West. And I remember when he said, and it was so real, because when I spoke to him, he said, Penny, never have no favorites, never be married to your players. So hope you can feed into that. And he talked about how hard it was when he traded Norm Nixon to move Magic to the one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was major. I remember those days.
And that was hard. But Coop would always step up. Coop, you were always a leader. I always learned from you, even as, it was a difficult time for me as a player playing for the Sparks, because I thought I had more to give, but with the wrong coaches. And as a player, your mom want to go to the negative. I'd be like, man, look at these suckers. Look at this, look at this. But Coop always kept everybody on the bench focused. That's when I was on the bench. And I Grace said something negative about Michael, always kept it like, hey, 100. I don't want to hear that. Let's put in work. Let's get better. Let's get better. And that's why I knew we were going to win. He was always like that,
Wow.
Michael, you were
That's
great,
awesome.
Michael.
I think we need to get a Michael Cooper show. What do you think?
Absolutely.
I think we need to get a Michael Cooper show. I mean,
as long as I
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
shares there,
podcast.
Bear gotta be in. Yeah.
That's it. Hoops with Coop, man. That my
that would
goodness.
be dope, right?
It would be straight comedy first and
But
foremost.
the other
You have
thing,
been a real gem, man.
but the other thing is, for a tribute for everybody out there that don't know, Michael is the only coach to win in every league.
Yep.
Every league, Michael has won a championship. The G League, when he went to the G League, he won with New Mexico. You know what I'm saying? He won in the 3-on-3. He won in the WNBA as a player. He won with the Sparks. You're the only coach, I think, that done went around in every league and won a championship. Only coach.
And last thing I would love to get from you too, Michael, before you go, is just to let everybody know what you're doing now. You have a son that's playing as well, and just fill us in, because that's really, really where your legacy is going to be.
Just here in Los Angeles, trying to be a good husband, and my older kids are grown and out the house, so that's great. They've established their life. But I coach at Culver City. During the summer, I have an AAU program that I run, 2-1 Elite, where I coach 15, 16, and 17, and we go around and do the whole recruiting, the scouting service for colleges. I coach in the Big Three, and the one thing I want to say about this Hoops with Coop that you guys want to start, I'm like Penny Toller, as opposed to being like Don King. We gonna give it away for free. So whatever y'all do, I get paid.
Absolutely.
I love it. Thank you so much for just gracing us with your humor, your history, and your knowledge and wisdom. We really, really appreciate this. This has been a treat. We have been doing Certified Unscripted now for I don't even know how many shows, but we've been doing it for 2 seasons.
Yes.
And it just seems like we just keep getting better and better. And what a great way to wrap up the show. I think, is this our first man? This is our first man.
Actually, it is.
Yep.
You're my first man. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. So we will always remember this one. We will definitely remember this one. You have made this extra special. I have not. I'm telling you, I have a headache. Need some Advil. That's what we can get as a sponsor. If we're gonna bring
Advil, right?
Yeah,
we need Advil.
I remember all of you.
I'm laughing. Everybody, you know how we do this. We will catch you next year. All of our fans out there on Facebook Live, YouTube Live.
I just want to say thank you to you, Penny. Thank you to you, Vera, to Ruthie, to Spoon for making the season really a special one. To our fans, we appreciate you, and I'm sorry we couldn't get everyone on that you wanted, but we do our due diligence, and we get on who is ready and willing and able to come on. So I just want to thank you, the fans. I want to thank my team. Michael, thank you. I want to thank my brother Rami for always just taking care of stuff for me and making sure I got my links and everything right. So, we appreciate all of you who have supported us this year, and look for bigger and better things next year. Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. Love you.
Love
Thank
you
you,
too.
Michael.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Well, when it comes, I can't even say to women's hoops anymore. I guess now officially that we've had Michael Cooper on, we will end this season by saying when it comes to hoops, we're not new to this. We're true
We
to
are
this.
true to this.
We are certified unscripted. Until
Unscripted.
next
Thank you,
time, God
y'all.
bless. Keep
See you
praying for
next
Brittany
year.
Griner. Yeah, and see you the next time. Love to all. Mwah.
Mwah.
I think we still live. Or
He's
very,
still
I
live.
understand.